There is a place in life where 99% of people tend to get stuck. And today I'm going to show you what that place is and how you can make sure that you do not get stuck there. So to explain this, I first want to introduce to you a very powerful framework that describes the evolution of individual needs and desires, and that is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So in this framework, you start at the bottom of the pyramid and you work your way up as you meet the needs described at each level. So you start with physiological needs. These are things you literally need to survive, like breathing, food, water, shelter, clothing, and sleep. After those needs are met, you move up to the safety and security level of the pyramid, which is health, employment, property, family, and social ability, and so on and so forth until you get all the way up to the self-actualization stage of the pyramid, which is the very top, and that is things like morality, creativity, spontaneity, acceptance, experiencing purpose, meaning, and inner potential. So where in this framework do 99% of people get stuck? Well, in modern society, pretty much everybody can meet the physiological needs level, that base level of like food, water, shelter, clothing, breathing, sleep, etc. That is what's required to create a productive wage slave, right? To create a person that can generate output for the economy. Therefore, society wants everybody to be able to meet that first level. Where most people, where 99% of people get stuck, is that second level, that safety and security level with health, employment, property, social ability, family, etc. Society has been set up such that it does not want people to get past that second level, because if people get past that second level, that means that they're going to start searching for a transcendent purpose, going for love and belonging, self-esteem, self-actualization, and that is not conducive to the powers that be it the government or large corporations. And so our society has engineered a culture of constant consumerism, cheap dopamine, and instant gratification. Therefore, despite modern society's advancement in science, technology, creativity, and productivity, it is actually harder than it has ever been before to get past the second level of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so what you must do then is you must reject this culture that we're being fed of consumerism, instant gratification, cheap dopamine, and instead self-educate on the topics contained within the second level of the hierarchy of needs. And I think that to simplify and to adapt these categories a little bit to our modern society, you can boil them down to three simple categories, which are health, wealth, and relationships. And that's what this channel exists to teach you guys about, because I have mostly met my level 2 safety and security needs. And that's evidenced by the fact that now I can pursue things of a higher purpose, things that allow me to be more creative and find more meaning, like bodybuilding, like making YouTube videos to help others through my lived experience. And so I am now kind of on the route to those higher levels, and I want to help you guys get there too. So the first topic is health. Now, why is health the first topic? Because none of this matters if you are dead. Okay, relationships don't matter if you're dead. Wealth doesn't matter if you're dead. None of this matters if you are not alive on this planet, okay? You have to be able to survive a long enough number of years to find your meaning and find your purpose and leave an impact on this planet. And you will not do that if you cut your time short by having poor health. Second of all, health is the enabler of the fulfillment of all the other needs, because your health follows you everywhere. If you are in bad shape, you will be hindered in trying to acquire more wealth or acquire better relationships. On the other side of that coin, if your health is in tip-top shape, it will enable you, you'll have more energy, you'll have more confidence to be able to go out and chase more income, more wealth, you'll be attracting a better partner. So overall, health is really the center of all of these things. If you don't take care of your health, then none of the other things will follow. So what are the highest ROI activities for your health, and what are my guiding principles for maintaining good health? It boils down to two things: resistance train, eat protein and whole foods. That's it. I believe every single person on this planet should be resistance training, aka lifting weights, because it has been shown time and time again that building and maintaining lean muscle mass is vitally important for longevity, for metabolic health, and just for overall vitality for a variety of reasons I can go into in future videos. The second one, eat protein and whole foods. So resistance training is not useful without the building blocks to build and maintain that lean muscle, and that comes in the form of protein. Therefore, you must consume protein in all of your meals in order to effectively maximize your resistance training, to build and maintain that lean muscle mass, and also to feel more satiated so that you consume fewer calories, because protein is a more satiating macronutrient. Therefore, you will eat less, therefore you will be less fat. And eating whole foods contributes to this phenomenon as well, because eating whole foods, eating more satiating foods, will cause you to consume fewer calories compared to the highly processed, highly calorie dense foods that modern society encourages us to eat. Therefore, if you focus on just these two things, you will naturally, without counting calories, without trying to do a fancy elimination diet like keto or intermittent fasting or paleo or any other of those crap diets that I absolutely hate because they are not sustainable. Without doing any of those, you will naturally balance your diet and have a healthy lifestyle. And this is the key to your health, is longevity. You want to be able to do this for a long time. And resistance training and eating protein and whole foods are two things that you can do for pretty much your entire life. So those are the two biggest health-related topics that I talk about, and the two most valuable, in my opinion, things that you can do for your health. The next topic is wealth. And the goal here with wealth is not to become insanely rich. I'm not insanely rich. The goal here is to get your income and your wealth and finances to a point where they're no longer a top of mind concern, so that you're now freed up to pursue the upper level needs and desires, which once you monetize will lead to the insane riches. Okay? Once you find your meaning and your purpose and you are able to monetize that meaning and purpose, that's when the amazing riches come. Right now, we're just trying to get you to a point where you can start building that. So, in my experience, the two highest ROI activities that you can do for your finances, for your wealth, for your income are: 1, adopt a mindset of contentment and delayed gratification, and 2, acquire a high-value skill and or credential. Put simply, this can be boiled down to save more money and make more money. But that is not helpful to the average person, because the average person needs to know how to do those things. And so this is how I believe you can do them. Now, I do not believe in the quick cash grab, gimmicky type things like crypto, Amazon FBA, like drop shipping, YouTube automation. I don't believe in any of those things because I haven't done them. If one of those things worked for you, that's great, but it's not what I did, so it's just not what I teach. Instead, I focus on the mindset and the mentality that it takes to handle money, because no matter how much money you make, no matter how rich you become, if you don't know how to handle that money, it will always find a way to get away from you, because there are literally millions of people and billions of dollars that are directed for the sole purpose of trying to get you to take that money out of your wallet and give it to them. So you need to be able to learn to tame that part of your mind that is susceptible to sales and marketing tactics, because if you don't, no matter how much money you get, you won't be able to hold on to it. So to train your mind against these sales and marketing tactics that are being deployed against you, you have to practice the skill of delayed gratification. And make no mistake, this is a skill, just like shooting a basketball or playing piano or making YouTube videos. It is a skill that you have to master. And if you don't master it, you will be a slave to your immediate needs. And immediate needs are driven by emotion and not logic. And a life driven by emotion is a life of turmoil. Now, saving and holding on to money is one thing, but making it in the first place is another. And that is where the second part comes in, which is acquiring a high value skill or credential. Now, I went the credential route, right? I got a STEM degree. And so that's what I know the most about, but that doesn't mean that I by any means think that that is the only way to make a lot of money, nor do I believe necessarily that it is the even best way to make a lot of money in 2023. So if you don't choose to pursue a high value credential, and I'll go into future videos about what I believe is actually a high value credential, because it's not just a general college degree in my opinion. But if you do not choose to go that route, don't view that as a bad thing, because the potential to pursue a high value skill is higher than it has ever been in the history of the world. There are more skills available to learn, and the barrier to entry to those skills is lower than it's ever been. And you can make a very, very good income by getting very good at one skill. And I won't go too much into detail about this because I'm just not that experienced in it. But if it were me, the first thing that I would decide is whether I want to pursue a digital skill like web design, computer programming and coding, copywriting, video editing, things like that, or a physical skill like plumbing, electrical, general contractor, things that are more physical. I would decide between those first, and I think both are extremely lucrative opportunities, with the caveat that you are studying sales and marketing alongside them, because that is what is going to enable you to make lots of money with these skills. For example, if you're a plumber and you want to make a lot of money as a plumber, your first priority should be to get really good at plumbing, at the skill of plumbing, whatever that is, whatever that entails, but also to be able to understand how to parlay that skill into a steady stream of clients that are flowing to a business that you are the owner of. And that is the ultimate goal with these skills, because that's what's going to allow you to make the most money. That's going to allow you the most freedom, and it will allow you to prioritize your other needs because you're no longer the one doing that physical labor. So that is my long-winded explanation of my core beliefs when it comes to meeting your wealth needs. And remember, these are needs. This is not to become insanely wealthy. The insane money will come later when you learn how to monetize your individual meaning and your individual purpose. Next up is relationships. So I am by no means a relationship expert, nor do I claim to be. I am, however, currently working my way through the complicated, mind-boggling, frustrating, and beautiful relationship that is a marriage partnership. I've been married to my beautiful wife for 3 years now, and I can honestly say that in those 3 years, I have learned more about relationships than I have in the entire other 23 years of my life combined. I've learned exponentially more in this 3-year period. And guess what? I met her on Tinder. And so what I have to offer you in the relationship department is what I believe are the keys to a successful, long-term, sustainable partnership. And I will dive deep on these topics in future videos, but my core beliefs and what I believe are the keys to a successful and long-lasting relationship are: 1, men and women are very different and therefore excel at very different things and have different needs. I think this view has been kind of vilified and delegitimized and viewed as a bad thing in previous decades. I think people are now kind of warming back up to that idea, but I've strongly believed this for my whole life. 2, a high body count is not something to be desired for men or for women. And side note here, I do not subscribe to the currently trending kind of manosphere view where a man should be with like 50 women before he settles down. It's not what I did. So if your goal is to just bang as many women as possible, then this is just not the advice for you. In fact, I honestly think this greatly degrades your emotional capacity for future relationships, and therefore I don't believe it to be in your best interest long term. 3 is that there are certain non-negotiable foundations of a successful relationship, and I believe those things are faith, family, and finances, and everything outside of those things are negotiable. But that's not to say that you have to have all of those things, right? You don't have to have a certain faith to be successful. You just have to be aligned on your faith. For example, you could be agnostic, atheist, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, whatever it is you are. As long as you're aligned, you're set up for success. Same thing with family and finances. If you're aligned on your financial goals and your familial goals, whether you want children, whether you want your parents and in-laws to be in the picture or not, then you're set up for success, regardless of whether you have a lot of money or not, whether you have a strong family already or not. As long as you're aligned on the future goals of those things, then you are set up for great success down the road. And that leads me to number 4, which is that 99% of problems outside of those foundational issues are caused by a communication backlog. And what I mean by that is most people are not good, especially men, myself included. Most people are not good at expressing their problems and the things they're feeling after it happens, or even while it's happening. For example, I am especially bad at going to my wife after she's said something, or we've had an argument, or something I didn't like happened, and say, hey, I didn't like that thing that you did or that you said. It made me feel bad, and I just wanted to talk about it. I suck at that. I'm terrible at it, but she's good at it. So she rarely has times when she's bottled up a bunch of problems. And I have that all the time. I'm trying to work on this, but I often have had many times where I failed to communicate something, and then it just starts to bubble up in my behavior towards my wife. I start to act mean and cold and unloving, and eventually I just blow up, and it just explodes and builds because I've been holding this in for so long. And that's a communication backlog. So if you can solve the communication issue, then, and this, I know this is not anything revolutionary, everybody says this, but if you can solve the communication backlog, then the majority of your problems you'll be able to work through. It might not be fun to work through them, it might not be easy, but no one said it was going to be fun or easy, but you can do it. And so those are my 4 core beliefs of what makes a successful relationship. And if you can do those things, I believe that you are going to be set up for success in your relationship. You will meet your need for intimacy, for family, and it will allow you to pursue your higher level needs of meaning and self-actualization. So these are a few of the topics that you can expect to see from this channel in my future videos. And of course, I'm by no means an expert in any of these areas of life, but I do have some lived experience that can help you guys out, and I hope you have some that can help me too. So with that, I'm excited to learn and level up with you guys, and I will see you in the next one.